the policy on cursing?
Curse.
Go for it.
Oh, I'm gonna curse so much.
We started off as a PG podcast, but then Devin just kept on dropping shits and fucks, and now we're just don't care.
That's right. We aren't afraid of those curse words, especially when we are passionate about a subject, such as the Ontario government saying they are banning body checking in the OHL.
The OHL is coming back in February. They have announced a shortened season. The OHL is facing this dilemma despite the fact that the Ontario government has decided that if you play, you're not going to have any body checking. I'm going to let Sean have the floor first, and I'm going to see where everybody else.
I'm so excited. I'm so excited.
We thought we needed popcorn before. We need it now.
Maybe we should take a station break and come back here. Get them really wound up.
We pause now for station identification.
This might be right the time right now.
It makes absolute no sense. One, the OJHL, the Ontario Junior Hockey League, Junior A, is playing with full contact. No issues with that, and they're allowing that to happen. But for some reason, the OHL cannot. But under the guise that it helps mitigate COVID-19 transmission, it does not. Do you watch hockey? Do you watch how close players get on the ice, let alone on the bench? Like, let's look at how hockey starts. Let's look at the face-off and how close these players get with their faces.
Yeah, you give your opponent a good luck, good game kiss, and then you play hockey. That's how I was raised as a rural Albertan.
Exactly. So the fact that this is a full-on just not someone pulling some sort of power move, thinking that trying to show that they're doing something, even though it does nothing. And then you're ruining the development of kids, the enjoyment of hockey for kids, let alone not even people, the ones that are playing, but the kids that go and watch the game. And but let's look at the development. You're going to completely change the development of every kid playing in the OHL. The game, a non-hitting game, completely changes how you strategically defend and how you strategically attack. Because if you don't have the threat of the hit, you don't have the threat of any body contact, you can run around and with stick handle through however many players without worrying about having someone come in and just knock you off the puck. And it's completely changes the game, and it's doing it for a reason that doesn't actually do anything. Yeah. And you're also still allowing allowing players to play in the OJHL now that have been allowed to play at proper rules. And it just makes no sense. I mean, like I've seen everyone's going out, like it's the sport minister, Lisa McLeod in Ontario, that is mandating this. And like, she's getting just absolutely lit up by everyone from Darren Dreger to even the Bob father himself, Bob McKenzie, is going after her because
he's just wasted hurling margaritas, just flinging emotional margaritas.
Yeah.
Because it makes no sense. Like I said, the face-off, you've got the kids on the players on the bench, you've got all the scrums in the corner, even if there's not body checking. You've got everything in front of the net. Like, how many scrums in front of the net have we seen where like everyone's here, there, and there? Every like the face washing, because that's not body checking. That's still quote unquote allowed.
Yeah.
It screams of someone who's of bullshit politics, ruining something that for a reason that doesn't actually do anything. It is window dressing that doesn't change anything in terms of COVID-19 transmission. Nothing. It's like saying that it would be like mandating wearing a mask just over your nose. Like that's literally what it is.
The old dick nose.
Yeah. But yeah, like that's literally what it is. It does not actually do anything because there's still way too many other ways that it can transmit and it can spread. If you're that worried about the transmission of COVID-19, then don't play. Just tell them they can't play. I think that would suck. Ding. That would suck, but it would be a lot more controversial than absolutely changing a core piece of what hockey is.
To me, this is another illustration of public entities trying to implement half-baked ideas to look like they are still allowing sports to happen and not being overly draconian, but at the same time looking like they're doing something about trying to control COVID-19. A couple of the points Sean made, like I think being on the players' bench is where you really have the problems. I mean, everybody's jammed in there; they're talking to each other in close confines. I think that's more of an issue, even though it's amongst the same team. I think that's more of a problem than what happens on the ice. I mean, how do you regulate body contact? You put them in bubble wrap? Like, I mean, at what point do we say like? Just you either got to let them play or shut it down, I think is what it comes down to here. Or you do it in a bubble like the NHL did. But I don't get it either. Now, no, it's not like hockey nowadays is 50,000 hits a game, So how many, how much are they actually trying to reduce with that rule in place? Like, I don't know. It just speaks to how public entities are kind of, in a lot of ways, guessing their way through the pandemic. They're not really sure what to do.
It's performative.
Yeah.
I mean, unless you're going to throw them in Russian cosmonaut helmets, fuck off and let them play, or shut the whole thing down.
Yeah, I just the half-baked approach to it is what bugs me.
If you're changing the rules that make it not hockey, yes, there's non-contact hockey and women play non-contact hockey, but it's a completely different game. It's the same sport, it's a different game because it completely changes the strategy and tactics. And if they're going to play, if it's going to be one season, you're completely changing how these kids are developing into what could be professional careers.
From firsthand perspective here, back when I played AAA in Bantam, I played Haley Wickenheiser's team as a exhibition game, and that.
Please tell me they just shredded you.
Oh, they are good. Holy, they are so good. But we actually won, no big deal. But like Sean's point is 100% on, because that game, the tactics that we used, the strategy that we had going to that game is completely different from anything else that we played. And I remember playing the game after that. It took half a period to kind of adjust back to that mentality that we could hit and that we could play the game the right way. And the sad thing about it is that I don't think, even with all this backlash, the government, Ontario government, is not going to redact this, as it's not going to go back to and say, okay, well, we screwed up, because that's just egotistical politic bullshit. So it's unfortunate, and I would assume that everybody else would agree 100% with this within the group. So it's sad. It's unfortunate.
Yep. I think we're all in agreement that you should either just let them play or shut it down.
I could
remember having this discussion when the NHL was coming back too. Like, people are like, oh, do you get rid of that? I'm like, no, like, watch a game. Like, there are so many other ways that this would transmit. There,
if you're executing a good body check, it is shoulder to shoulder or shoulder to chest if the other player is horribly out of position. If you gotta scrum in the corner, like just a puck battle on a forecheck, if you're talking about transmission, is so much more dangerous, like than a shoulder to shoulder contact if you're doing it properly.
Yeah, if they want to show that they're taking things serious. I mean, look, there's a lot of spitting that happens in sports, not at other players or whatever, but there's just in general, there's a lot of spitting that goes on during the playing of sports. Like if they really want to send a message, just come out with a rule around a huge fine or suspension or something like that to really pour some cold water on the idea and let everybody know that you're taking the whole transmission of the virus thing seriously. But to alter the playing rules in a way that's not actually going to help stop the transmission of COVID-19 just is silly. I mean, I can't really add anything more to what Sean's already gone on about.
It's also an attempt to make a rule that doesn't cost money. That's the other thing. Because there is a really good solution to this. Bauer makes a face shield, a full face shield bubble with an additional shield at the bottom that covers for transmission. And I think Hockey Canada I believe, I may be wrong on this, but I believe they made a mandate that they have to wear that, or if not, they should, because that would help stop a lot of it. It's literally your normal bubble, and then they've added another shield inside that's a little more breathable, so you don't have the fogging up issue, but it still stops the droplets. It's just an attachment that goes inside their already pre-made mask. Yeah, it just looks like a shield with an extra level on it. So yeah, and Matt, like, literally just make the players wear that. That goes a lot more of in stopping transmission than this half-assed bullshit. Get rid of body checking when there is so much more body contact and close contact in hockey than just body checking.
I think the other thing that's really bothering me about this is the Ontario government never communicated with the OHL about this. They just said,
"Are you saying the Ontario government is bad at something?"
I know this is I got to get my free. I got the sound for this. I'll have to just pull it up. Just give me a moment here. But yes, I'm. Hang on here. Oops. There's a whole. But
also, yeah, the shield itself is less than $30,
mm-hmm.
and it's an attachment that goes inside your helmet.
Like I could see a number of players saying, you know what, I'm not okay. You can play, you can have your season, but I'm not playing this way. I'm either going to go to college, or I'm going to find my way under the WHL or in the queue and see if I can make it there.
They'll go over to Europe. We're already seeing some players do that. If the OHL is still playing under the standard rules, then they'll go play in the OHL. They can't go to college. The NCAA rules are weird in that aspect. As soon as you play junior hockey, you can't play NCAA. I know that what's it called now? U Sports, CIS,
U Sports.
They're not doing anything. So it's literally they're going to go to Europe, or they're going to find another league that actually allows them to do it. So it's just if this goes through, we're going to see a lot of players who have already gone over to keep playing hockey to not come back, and others to join.
Breaking news.
The Ontario government is bad at something.